Welcome to the hottest real estate topics on the planet, keeping you up to date with all the creative ways to buy and sell real estate without bank qualifying, so anyone can build real income starting today. Here is another great show with Dealmaker Bill and Pete the Rookie.
All right. I couldn't see the button. Little thing popped up there. All right. Here we are at another Flipping Houses for Rookies podcast. Sorry about that. It's telling me we're not connected to LinkedIn, and it was this big thing. And okay. All right, Peter. Here we are. Episode number 413, otherwise known as 413.
Yeah, there we are.
Lucky 13 we're at today. Yeah.
Good thing it's not Friday. That'll be next week.
Yeah. The name of today's episode is, or the title of today's episode is, How to Get Creative Real Estate Deals for Free, Part 2. Here is the description. Are you ready?
Yep, go for it.
Bill was in a pretty crazy mood when he wrote this.
Uh-oh.
Warning! This episode contains highly classified information that could make you filthy rich in real estate. So listen at your own risk. Attention, deal-hungry, creative real estate investors. Are you ready to unlock the Fort Knox of finding motivated sellers for free? Well, buckle up, Buttercup. Because we're about to blow the lid off secrets so juicy they should be illegal. Don't worry, they're not, mostly. And this mind-bending sequel to our viral episode number 412, we are back to talk more about some tricks and tips that a magician has up their sleeves at a millionaire's birthday party. We plan to unveil the most outrageous ideas yet. It's so crazy, you might believe they will get you gargantuan deals as easy as buying a bottle of water today. And if you thought episode number 412 or part 1 was so good, you ain't seen nothing yet. This episode will be hotter than a bidding war during the pandemic. Don't let your competition beat you at these golden nuggets. So it's time to show you the money.
Wow, you got my attention.
All right, so let's start off with our normal housekeeping type activity. So we normally record this podcast at 9:30 a.m. on Thursday mornings, Eastern Standard Time. And when we do, we live stream on Facebook. Actually, we're on YouTube 2 channels now, because we used to just be on Flipping Houses for Rookies, but I've also hooked us up to the Creative REI Reply YouTube account. So you can either go to Flipping Houses for Rookies on YouTube or Creative REI Reply. And we're also hooked to LinkedIn if the link works. I don't think the link is
Did it go on? Today. Did it go on today?
No, it's giving me all kinds of warning.
Danger, huh?
Yeah, exactly. So you can go watch us there. If you so choose to join us or ask any questions while we are recording the podcast, you go to any one of those platforms, and wherever you could type into the platform, you can send us a question. As long as the question pertains to the podcast, we will gladly answer it. However, if you have something that you have to ask outside of the scope of this podcast, you can hop over to Flipping Houses for Rookies. Top right-hand corner is a support link. And you can also go to WhatsApp Messenger and for free get into our mastermind group of 100 and something people that's called Let's Talk Real Estate. And then lastly, make sure you subscribe to us wherever you're listening to us. Make sure you like us. Make sure you leave a good word for us somewhere so others can find us too. Because this podcast is all about 412, now it's going to be soon 413 episodes of nothing but creative real estate. There's probably about 425 hours of training that is totally for free, coaching, all that kind of stuff, which is totally for free. If you have been here before, you will realize that I'm not trying to get you to do anything. I'm not trying to get you to buy anything. There's no advertisements here. It's just to get you to change your way of thinking about doing real estate deals. Because we believe here that real estate is made to take money out of, not put money into it. The money's already in the deal. Your seller already has the money in the deal. So all you need to do is figure out how you can utilize that money and make huge profits for the seller, for you, and your buyer. And that's all this podcast is about. So we talk about the same things, but we come up with all different ideas. And we've been doing it now, 400 podcasts every week. We've done, what, 7 or 8 years at this point, I think?
5 into 400, 8?
8 years, yeah. So that means that we've gone through several technology changes. So earlier podcasts are different than later podcasts because new evolutions have come. So you should start at the highest number and work your way backwards. All right, enough of that. I took way too much time doing that. But I wanted to communicate that this morning because I just want people to know that this is my way of giving back, and yours too, Peter. Once you get at the top of the pile, although I don't feel that way today. Money is pretty tight today. Cash flow, right? It's amazing you could be worth a whole lot of money and not have any cash. So, anyways, the point is we're here to help you. We're giving back. I spend 4 or 5 hours a week making this podcast so that you can have free information. I've thought about canceling it numerous times because it takes too much time. I really don't get anything back other than the satisfaction of knowing I help you. So make sure you go into the WhatsApp group and all that kind of stuff and get more help so you can do more deals. My pay and Peter's pay for doing this is you do a deal. All right, Pete, enough of that. Today, we have a sequel of podcast number 412. So in case you don't know what a sequel means, that means that the first one was on 412, and this is the one behind it or after it, right? So
follow-up.
The follow-up. And 412 was about finding motivated sellers in creative real estate deals for free. So what we're doing is because obviously the best way, as far as I am concerned, and it's not because I own the company or part of the company, is Creative REI Replay. There is no other system like that on the market. It's a creative real estate system in a box. It does everything for you, and it takes away 90% of all the work, and it keeps getting better and better and better and better. Okay, but that costs a few bucks. So what I decided to do is go to the other side for the people that can't afford that and try to help them out so they could do a deal and hopefully pay for some software like that. Okay?
Yep.
So the purpose of this podcast is to help you do some gargantuan deals, no matter where your real estate journey is, right? But before we reveal today's magical tricks up our sleeves, I want to recap episode number 412 so our listeners know what's already been covered. Okay?
Yep.
Now, obviously, there's a whole episode. I'm just going to talk about the topics. I'm not going to talk about how we do them and all that kind of stuff. That's what episode number 412 is. But first, we covered how to find motivated... Oh, I'll give that to you again. First, we covered how to find motivated leads on Facebook for free. Right? And that's pretty simple. There's a couple places you could do that. If you're a Facebook person, we cover that in about 5 minutes, right?
Yep.
Then we covered how to make extraordinary, unbelievable, totally professional flyers in Canva. Canva, Canva.com, right? And you can get an account for free. I have a pro account. I think it cost me $10.95 or $10.85, something like $11 a month or $12 a month, something like that. It's an amazing software. I use it all the time. I make PowerPoint presentations. I do YouTube stuff in there. It makes videos. It is like the hottest thing in this century, as far as I'm concerned.
So you're saying that's better than me typing into Word on my computer and trying to find a little piece of artwork and stick. So I wrote it down. I should have tried it on the invitation. I'm going to try it on my next move because I make things.
Okay.
I will definitely try that. Sounds good.
Do you make things other than trouble?
Well, sometimes. But even when I make things other than trouble, I still get in trouble.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
All right. So the thing about making flyers with Canva is to get others to pay for the flyers. So one of the things we talked about is getting, like, you could fit 4 people on one side of the flyer, 4 people on the other side of the flyer. That's 8 people or 8 companies you could promote, right? And so you get the other 7 people to pay for it, the printing and all that kind of stuff, right? Plus, the other 7 people, we tell you what kind of businesses to pick that are kind of related to real estate so you can get a motivated seller. And we talk about all that in episode number 412. The idea is after we make the flyers, we get them to help us distribute them. So they're just not flyers made and that's it. They get distributed to the right people or to the right public.
Yeah. Well, if it's a business, the business can have them on display and people get them when they go to the business.
That's one way to do it.
Just
So we cover all that in episode number 412. After that, we went over how to advertise while driving around, doing errands, and going about your daily business, right? That was another way we did it for like really cheap money. It was pretty cool. That was a great idea. Then we covered how to buy cheap bumper stickers to pass out and pay commission on anyone who sends a lead their way. So if somebody has a bumper sticker on the car, we can pay them commission, $250, $300, $500, whatever it is, right? And we talk about that. Then we got into the weeds talking about laptop stickers, which you would think, laptop stickers. Kids have these laptop stickers, these colleges and stuff. And I know that sounds like kind of corny, but I know someone that got 12 deals from laptop stickers. Over the course of a few years, it was like, I think 3 or 5 years, but they got deals from laptop stickers. You paid $20 for like 5 of them on a page or something like that, or 20 of them on a page or something. But anyways, we covered that in episode 412. Then my favorite strategy, which I keep saying I'm going to do and I haven't, right, is printing $20 business cards and dropping them on the floor of Home Depot. So it's a folded card, and when you drop it, it looks like a real $20 bill. Right? That's pretty good how they do it. But the trick of that is getting them distributed. So we used to just put them all over the place, but we talked about on episode number 412, you go to places like Home Depot, Lowe's, Bed, Bath & Beyond, basically stores where homeowners go.
Yeah.
Right? So that's why you would do that. Then how about leaving comments on high traffic blogs or places like Reddit, Yahoo Answers, or Quora, Quora. Bigger Pockets is another one, right? Just leaving comments about selling and buying houses. And if you start talking about it, sooner or later you'll find a deal. And that doesn't take a lot of time, right? We talked about having an email signature in your email saying, I buy houses. You email all the time. It's not hard, especially in Google. You go into settings and it opens up to the right page. You scan down on the bottom and it says signature. Just type in there, put your name in there, I buy houses, and a phone number and your email address. Right? Why wouldn't you do that? Right?
Well, I get emails from professionals, and they have this fancy thing at the bottom. I never knew how they did that. So it's in Google settings.
It's in Google settings, yeah.
Cool. Just go there, put your signature, your name, and I buy houses, blah, blah, blah.
You could paste pictures in there and all kinds of stuff, right? So,
yeah.
Then we started to get into the weeds on being outrageous. We're talking about going to garage sales and leaving your flyers that you built before and talk to them and see if they're selling a house. Is that why they're having a garage sale? Right?
Yeah.
Now, again, you don't have to do all this. I mean, suppose your mother-in-law is a hoarder, and she's a junkie, and she's out doing garage sales. Tell her, well, if you find me a deal, I'll pay you $250. You know what I mean? I mean, there's a bunch of ways to do this, right?
Yeah. Well, they have estate sales.
Right.
And why are they selling everything? Because the house is being empty because it's got to go for sale because something happened.
Right.
Yeah.
In final, we really stretch the imagination, really push the limit, right?
Oh, no.
By using software called onlysocial.com. And on social media, hang on one second. Oh my God. I'm getting all kinds of noise. LinkedIn is pissed off right now because we're not there. So, anyways, back to using the software Only Social on social media. Only Social means that you could. It's a one-time fee. It's not a monthly fee, and you could actually post on multiple medias. Like LinkedIn and Facebook and Twitter or X or whatever they call it. All of them, right? Hmm. And you could schedule them. So you could literally sit down for like an hour, one day a week, and do a week's worth of postings, right? And what you do is you go in there and you talk about junk removal, offered junk removal. Remember we talked about that?
Yeah, right. It's not that we do the junk removal, but if there's junk removal, it's like, what are they doing that for? That's like the estate sale. But the crap that they can't sell has got to go first, right? I've done that.
Right.
So you can find a company who does that. They're all over the place. College guys, college hunks.
And we gave a list of 4 or 5 places that you could team up with. So once somebody sends you like, hey, I want a junk removal, you flip the junk removal job to a junk remover guy, right? And I gave you, I think we had between 4 and 6 of them. I don't remember exactly how many, right? And we list a bunch, and we list all this all over social media, like junk removal, right? And I'm sure whoever you're promoting, they'll give you things, pictures and stuff, right? The point is you ask them if they have a house for sale before you send the junk guy there, right?
Sure.
And then the last one we talked about was hooking up with mortgage brokers, and tell them that you can give them a commission if they'll take it. Some of them will, some of them won't. If they give you folks that were disapproved for owner financing. I'm sorry, for a refi. Owner refi, okay. Like a HELOC or a refinance.
Okay.
Right? Did you have a question?
Mm-hmm. Well, would that apply for just people looking for a mortgage to get denied as well?
No, because they're not selling houses.
I got you.
I mean, you could.
Yeah.
You could.
No, you got a point. You're looking for people to try to refinance the house they're already in.
Right.
For some reason, to find out, like if they're in trouble, they need to sell it, we can help them. I got it.
If they're refinancing, there's usually some situation that you can help them with.
Yep.
Right? So that was episode number 412. Okay, we covered a lot. It was really good, which puts us into present time and today's magical up-the-sleeve secrets. So we'll start off with number 1. There's 10 of them. They're not numbered. Okay. They're not numbered per se. I just numbered them to keep track of them in my notes. Yeah. So I'll reference to them as a number just because, but they're not. It's not like do this one first, do this one second. It's a number for me. So here we go. How about building a network of contractors that do remodeling, and offer to pay them $1,000 if you do a deal with one of their leads. Right? Now, it's good for the contractor because if they're going to sell the house, it's likely they'll get more work. Right? If there's something wrong with the house, the seller will want to fix the house usually before you do that. Because one of the things that we promote heavily, or I promote heavily, especially lately, and it's just because we're still in pandemic mode. We're coming out of it now, meaning prices and stuff.
Yeah, we're the repercussions of that, the aftermath still.
Still, yeah. So, one of the things that I talk about quite a bit lately is our Grand Slam offer, where we can actually take like I did a presentation the night before last.
Tuesday.
Yeah, and I showed on the webinar how we can pay $394,000 for a $300,000 house and make $15,000. Okay, so obviously I'm going to go over that in a minute, but there's a podcast on it as well, and I'll tell you how to get there shortly.
Yeah.
Right, but here's my point: is that a lot of those houses were bought 10, 20, 50,000 over market value between 21 and 22, 2021 and 2022. And I'm going to cover that before we end. But these contractors, sometimes people get them in there because for them to get their full asking price, they want to fix the property up so they can get all the money. So the contractors are good.
Yeah. That's what they're told by the realtor. You got to do this, you got to do that. Right. Or they're expecting that.
So you can find these contractors on Yelp.com. That's YELP, P like in Paul. You can go on Thumbtack, Angie's List.
Sure.
I'll tell you a great place to find contractors, a phenomenal place to find contractors is if you go into Facebook, type your city name, and then buy and sell site. And you go in there and you just type in there, hey, anybody know a good contractor to remodel a bathroom? And you will get plenty of names. Plenty of names. Because everybody has a friend, right? So
hey, do you have the old school local newspaper that comes every week that has everybody and his brother stump grinding?
Used to.
That's old school.
Used to, but I think it's online now. Hey, I call Brandon, our friend Brandon, Jeff's son.
Yeah.
I called him yesterday because we're doing something down at the church this weekend and I wanted to talk to him.
Yeah.
And I said to him, did you get my message? Because he was asking me. I said, well, I left your voice message. Did you get it? He goes, listen, boomer, I don't do that. Just like that. He said, you got to text me if you want to get my attention. I'm like, dude, I'm driving. I don't care. You're a boomer. You do it the old way. We don't do that shit no more.
But he doesn't even do like voicemails?
No.
Whoa. Well, yeah.
Anyways, let's move on. My friend, my very new friend, his name is Azameo. He's responsible for this list. He helped me with this list. He's an incredible out of the box thinker. He says he's an awesome guy. He says you should do deals, especially with contractors. He calls them the 77s, the 77s.
Yeah.
Right? And what that means is you rate someone from 1 to 10. 7 is the best, is the rating. So anything above a 7.
Okay.
And you rate them on 2 things. One, on how well do you like working with them? 1 to 10. If they're a 7 or above, then that's the first 7. And what's the likelihood of you making money with them? On a scale of 1 to 10. So if they're a 7, you like to work with them, and a 7 that you think you can make money with them, then voila, you have a relationship. So when you're talking to these contractors, you need to find 77s. Right?
Yeah.
So the steps for finding a contractor are 1, find the contractor. Right? Like on Thumbtack or Angie's List. Yelp is a great place because Yelp are reviews, so you can find someone that gets a lot of great reviews. Which, by the way, if you get a contractor, type them in the Google and see how many reviews they have.
Sure.
That's a good way to see if they're a 77, right? So once you find a contractor, and this is important. I can't. I gotta plug him. I gotta do this. John Patterson is also a contractor. I think he's in Atlanta. He should tell us where he's at. He could even give me his phone number and I'll promote it for him if he wants. But you can also find really good contractors on flipping houses for rookies. So John,
well, there you go.
If you give me
what he just learned,
if you give me where you are, I think it's Atlanta, and a contact, I will blurt it out for you right now. So, anyways, so you find contractors, and the most important part is you need to train the contractors on what type of deals you want, or what kind of sellers they should send you, because the contractor is going to think, oh, I saw a sign, a realtor sign, and it's for sale. You should give them a call.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly.
Right. So you need to give them an old training session, a hatting session as we call it, anyways, that's what we call it. And number 3, you screen those sellers they send you, and if you do a deal, you give the contractor $1,000. Right. So that's one way. It probably seems simple, but I promise you, as we go, I'm going to pump up the volume, and by the time we get to the end, you're going to be like, oh my God, I never thought of that.
So with the contractors, you could reverse it too. Like if you're talking to somebody that you find that's thinking of selling a house, but they say it needs some work before I sell it or something like that. I have to do some renovation. It's a mess. Say, well, look, I got a guy. You can refer the contractor to him. Just throw the bone to the contractor to start the exchange going back and forth.
And he can give you a commission.
Yeah, the other way around. So you help him, they'll help you. Reciprocal stuff.
Right. I was doing that for about 3 years with a realtor. And they're not supposed to pay commissions, but he had me on as a marketing agent, doing marketing for him. That's how he gave me money. I had another realtor I was doing it, and I think I talked about this in the past. Is he would go to the cigar shop that I frequent, and he would just put money on my account. God, I think I went a whole year one time when I was buying a cigar, or a pretty long time, maybe 8 or 10 months. I forgot, it was pretty long.
That's a good perk.
Yeah. All right, so number 2. How about upside down or underwater homeowners? So this means underwater or upside down means the seller owes more than the house is worth, right? And believe me, like I already said, during COVID in 2021 and 2022, houses were being sold for $10,000 to $50,000, sometimes more.
Yeah.
Over the market value, just to get the deal. So there's a lot of houses like this, right?
Yeah.
So where do these sellers go when they need to sell? And how do they do it without a great loss? You got it. You are going to help them.
We could do it. How do you find them?
I got that secret, Peter. I got that secret.
Oh, you're not going to tell us?
I am, but before I tell you that, I want you to get the significance of this. I said it's 2021, 2022. We're a couple years past that. So what I'm finding when I am on the phone, which isn't a lot, but when I am on the phone, I'm hearing about, I got transferred. Or military bases are good for this. Or there's a lot of different areas that you could go that it's a couple years later. So people are doing stuff. So first of all, you're going to do our Grand Slam offer, right? And you can make a boatload of cash. Like I said to you before, I did a webinar night before last, and it was a $300,000 house, and I did the math on our calculator, and I showed the script. You just kind of go down it, and we showed the seller how they can get up to $394,000 for the property on a terms deal. It's a 3-year lease deal. So that's a Grand Slam offer, right? So if you go to flippinghousesforrookies.com/podcast, or just go to flippinghousesforrookies.com, top right-hand side, there's a link that says podcast. When you open that page on the right side, about midway down, there's a search bar there for all the podcasts, because 413 podcasts is a lot. So you should always go to that page and just look for the podcast that you're looking for. If you're looking for a podcast about subject to, just type in there subject to. If you're looking for a podcast about selling houses, type it in there. If you're looking for a podcast about lease options or what is a slot deal, just type it in there. It's flippinghousesforrookies.com. Top right-hand side is podcast or /podcast. Save it to your favorites, and when you're looking for information, just go into that box and you just type in whatever you're looking for. In this particular case, you would type in there Grand Slam offer. Because I was being lazy. I didn't want to go look for when I was writing this yesterday, right? So you should know that you're going to give a grand slam offer. That's how you're going to be able to pay $20,000 to $50,000 over market value and still make $3,000, $5,000, $10,000, $20,000, right? Now, to your point, Peter, how do you find these potential sellers? Well, I know two ways.
Mm-hmm.
One is free, and the other one, and a lot of work. Not a lot of work, but it takes work. And the other one is simple, but you need a few bucks.
Okay.
So number one, go to the city hall, get the tax roll, or we call it the grand list here in Connecticut. Mm-hmm. So it's the tax roll of the grand list, which has all the properties that the city charges taxes for. Usually you can get that on an Excel spreadsheet. Some cities aren't like that. They have weird things like they got to check with the programmer and stuff. So this works 98% of the time. It used to work 100% of the time, but the computers kind of changed it a bit because some smaller rural cities will use a third-party vendor, and they have this really weird esoteric type of way of keeping track of the data. So you can't always get it, but it's definitely at least 95% of the places, more like 98% of the places. So if you can't if you can't get it in that little rural town, just go bigger, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I just contact them, send an email, and they just email it back.
Right.
Usually free.
Right. So you would get the grand list or the tax roll, whatever they call it, right? That has all the tax information on it. Mm-hmm. And what you would do is you would sort it by the sold date. So you would look, was it sold in 2021 or 2022?
Right.
Right. And obviously make a list of those names in 2021 and 2022. Right. Now, you're not going to have phone numbers for them, but you can go to Skip Trace Butler. And for, I think, 8 cents a lead, you can skip trace them and get their phone number, their address, their emails, their social media, all that stuff. Okay? Mm-hmm. Which, by the way, that is something that we don't talk about at all. At all. At all. Think of this. So you get a list of, so you're looking for people that bought properties in 2021, 2022 in your city. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Let's say you get a list back of 1,500 people.
Sure.
Right? What you should do is you should take all the numbers, the tax numbers and everything out of the Excel spreadsheet. And you should upload that spreadsheet into Facebook. And now you can promote to them through Facebook, and or they're an audience of yours and they're part of your Facebook page. Facebook will go find them. If they're on Facebook, you can talk to them on Facebook.
No kidding. Like the whole list all at once?
Yeah. You can upload it. You can upload it to Facebook. Yeah, I think it's Ads Manager you do it in. But you could do one of two things. You can send a campaign, or you can just, like if you're promoting something, you can just send it to that audience. Right? So cool. So you could do it costs money to do it, but you could do like $5 a day, right, for a month, and just put an ad in there, we buy houses, right, some sort of an ad like that, and just have it send to their timelines. Because they sold a house, like we're doing signs right now. Let me see here. My papers fell, so I got to find the right one.
Yeah, so we're looking for people who just bought the house a couple of years ago, but the occasion where they might have to move, right, divorce, transfer, any of that stuff. So like, oh crap, what do we do with the house now?
Right. Yeah. Or it goes just like the other way. They're afraid that sellers were trying to sell before the bubble burst, right? So now you have a seller that realize they overpaid and they're worried about the market going down. They want to sell before it goes too much lower. Yeah. Right. Anyways, we're testing signs. We don't know that this works yet. But what you could put is sell a house, the line 1. The second line, desperate buyers, right? Mm-hmm. It should be desperate buyers available, right? Or something like that. We want to talk about that. And then the next line down is 20% over market. And then what we did is we put text or call, right, and no fees.
Mm-hmm.
And then we put the phone number. Now, we're using Creative REI Reply, and we put them into Creative REI Reply, and we have a text bot that answers them and all that stuff. Right?
Yeah.
So that's number one. Number two, you could use PropStream or Property Radar for about $97 a month, and you could put your zip code in to the software, right? And you could ask it to give you sold houses in 2021 and 2022, and it will.
Sure.
It'll make a list.
And they're right there.
And they're right there. And then again, you could skip trace them. And you could, you could have a whole business just doing that. So yeah, you would pay for a skip trace. I don't know how many names you would have. Say it costs $50 for a skip trace. But now you have a list of people that every single day, you have no software, you have nothing. For not a lot of money, you have a list of 1,000, 2,000 names, whatever it is, 500 names, whatever it is. And just make it a habit to call one person a day for 5 days a week. And just practice your scripts. Get the Grand Slam offer script and just practice giving them the Grand Slam offer.
Now, obviously a lot of people won't be selling the house, but what's your trick when people say, no, we're going to stay here? You go, oh, great. Do you know anybody that might have a house for sale?
That's right.
Because then we buy our first house like that.
That's right.
Walking out the door, you turn around and go, oh, by the way. Yeah, he goes, oh, yeah, my neighbor, we're on the corner, and we bought the first house together.
By the way, when you call these people up the first time, what you say to them is, hey, listen, I'm working with an investor, and he had a house for sale, and he's got a lot of leftover buyers.
Mm-hmm.
So I want to see if you'd be willing to sell your house.
Mm-hmm.
And then just get into a conversation with them.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Make sense?
Yeah, but the beauty of it is, if these are over-leveraged houses because they were just bought at a high rate, even if the house is still worth something, closing costs are 9, 10, 11, 12% minimum. Right. Look at Zillow. Right. So you have to take that off the profit. Now you're in trouble on a house like that.
That's right.
So we can really, really be maybe the only one. Well, no, the only one, because a realtor can't do this to get him profit like that. So he gets out of it without costing him $10, $20, $30, $40,000. So we're it. For that guy, we're the solution.
Exactly. All right, so John Patterson, the name of his company, we're going back to the contractor. I like John. He's on all my stuff. So John Patterson, the name of his company is Craftsmith Inc. Craftsmith Inc. He says he's in the North Metro Atlanta, Georgia area. He offers a free consult for a visit, especially if he knows you're an investor, then I bet you can get a little bit more than that out of him. His phone number is 678-679-8525. His name is John Patterson. Again, it's 678-679-8525. Okay, now I'm going to talk out of school here. John is an awesome guy, and if you're not in the Atlanta Metro North area, I would imagine if you called him about some contractor things, he probably would talk to you, and you're going to find that he's a pretty cool guy. So give him a call, and maybe you can do something else with him. He buys and sells houses and does all kinds of crazy stuff. All right, we're moving on, Peter, to number 3, and we got to speed it up here. Okay, this one's a little bit more of a stretch, but no one does it, so you should.
What's that?
Zillow used to have a page, which they took down in 2019, and they used to call it the Make Me Move page.
I remember that. What was it, though?
It was motivated sellers.
Oh, yeah. It was like, give me an offer I can't refuse, and I will sell it to you. Right. Yeah, I remember that.
I need to sell quick. It was motivated sellers. Right?
Yeah.
But what happened was, this is my opinion, take it as gossip, take it as conspiracy theory, take it however you want, but around that time is when Zillow decided they needed to monetize their site, and they started going after realtors. And realtors are not allowed by their code of ethics to disseminate or promote or reveal their clients, meaning sellers or buyers, motivation. Mm-hmm. So it broke their code of ethics. All right.
Yeah, you can't tell the people their problems. I think they'll take advantage of their issues.
Right. So I could do a whole podcast just on this. I'm just going to zip through it. For the people that it works for, good. For the people it doesn't, I get it. Okay? So take that same principle and do this. You can use a scraper on any for sale by owner site and look for ads that say must sell, need to sell, or owner financing. Now, an internet scraper is a robot that goes behind the scenes and looks at the code, not the interface. It looks at the code, and if you tell it to go look for things like must sell, need to sell, owner financing, those type of words, it will present to you those ads.
So you're saying the code is numbers?
No.
No, the code is those words.
Where did you get numbers? I didn't say anything about numbers, did I?
No, when I think of code, it's usually numbers. But you're saying those words are the tripwire code.
Code is not numbers. It's not what you think. No, code is how it's written.
Yeah, I got you.
Okay.
That was really fancy.
Yeah. So here's 5 ways you could do this. Okay.
Yep.
So here are a few ways to do this if you're a little techie. 5 ways if you're a little techie. Not a lot techie, just a little techie. So you should write these down, right? Excuse me. That came out of nowhere. So the first one is FSBO Scraper. It's a Chrome extension. Just type into Google FSBO Scraper. The next one is Web Scraper. It's a Chrome extension. Web Scraper. The other one, which is my favorite, is Data Miner. Data Miner, like you're mining data.
Yeah.
That's also a Chrome extension.
MINER.
Yeah, I used to have that. I don't anymore. I was thinking the other day I should probably do that again. But it's Data Miner. It's a Chrome extension. So what that means is when you have a Chrome extension, when you have a for sale by owner page up or a site up, it scrapes that. Now, Data Miner is good because it doesn't scrape just the page you're on. If there's links on that page, it goes to the links and it gets all the data from all the other sites. Okay, so it's pretty good. Okay. Mm-hmm. Also, you can use 2 pieces of software. One is called Superhero Cloud. I'll give that again. Superhero Cloud. It's a web-based software. And another is OctoParse. OctoParse. And that's a web-based. There's 5 different ways that you can scrape a website to get what you're looking for. And this is not as easy as I'm making it sound. It's going to be some work and some technical. But if you can pull it off, what I should really do is make a Chrome extension to do it for everybody. But I'm just too busy with everything else because that would be amazing. Imagine if you could, and Zillow is not the place to go, but imagine if you can go to fit for sale by owner websites and just scrape things, things they say need to sell, need to move fast, job transfer, all these different ideas and get those ads back and then just call those people. Now, if you're not techie, you should raise your hand. You should raise your hand, Peter. Raise your hand.
Oh, I thought you were raising your hand. I'm going to raise it halfway because I'm trying to keep up with you. So I'm bloody half techie.
I'm just busting your chops. Head on over to Fiverr.com. That's Fiverr. There's 2 R's. The reason why it's called Fiverr is because you used to say, hey, do this job and I'll charge you a $5, a $5 bill. So a lot of things start at $5 in there, although you can pay way more than that. I have people that work for me out of Fiverr and I pay them hundreds, sometimes thousands of dollars. All right. And so once you go into Fiverr, you could just type in data scraping. And Fiverr will give you back the people that do that. It's called a gig. And just go in there, check their reviews, you can send them a private message, say, here's what I'm trying to do. And you could hire somebody on there for not a lot of money. Okay? Now, I know this stuff is not free, but it's relatively low cost for one-offs, meaning not having monthly subscriptions, right, for finding leads.
Yeah.
Okay. We're going to move on to number 5. I hope I covered that okay. I hope that's okay. If not, then just let me know, but it's an idea, right? Number 4, another out-of-the-box idea. Now, ready? Remember, I promised out-of-the-box ideas here. I mean, this podcast, by the way, took me 6.5 hours to write.
Wow.
Because I did a lot.
You had to do all the research to find all these
research.
things.
Yeah. All right. So, out-of-the-box idea. Ready?
Yeah.
Retirement and nursing homes.
Say again?
Retirement and nursing homes.
Okay.
Now, don't be an ass about this and show up like an ambulance chaser looking to make lowball offers to a bunch of old people that you think are senile.
It's sad that you had to say that.
Yeah. Instead, volunteer for a while, which is good for you because you should be, here's the thing. A little bit of a rant. Actually, I'm not going to do it. You should be doing this. As a real estate, if you're going to be a successful person, you should give back to your community. You should give back to charities. You should be part of your community, part of your church, part of the community, part of anything that you can be part of. It should be part of your weekly routine. Because I promise you, if you are successful in not doing that, you're capping your potential by not giving back. Okay? So, here's what you do. You go in and you volunteer, right? And you help them with some things, whether it's money or time or, and by the way, when I say help them, it might be as simple as going to the local Boy Scout or Girl Scout club and getting them to do a project. Or it might be as simple as going to the town Rex department and getting the guys that clean the roads and streets up and getting them to volunteer to come down and help out. Right? It's like, it doesn't mean you have to do the work. It just means that you could do a lot of coordinating, because that's what us real estate entrepreneurs do, is we coordinate our resources, right?
Yeah.
So here's what you do. Once you build some rapport, say, and tell them up front what you want to do. I want to volunteer and help, but eventually I want to run a workshop on settling their affairs.
Ooh.
Right? Now, what you could do is you could coordinate getting others like financial advisors and end-of-life experts. There's a lot of people that do that, end-of-life experts. And, of course, you'll be the real estate expert. And come in, whatever you could do once a week at lunchtime, buy them lunch or bring donuts or, I don't know, whatever works. And you become, you could start off once a month to begin with. I wouldn't do it once a quarter. I would do it once a month. I would do it once a week if you could, or every other week, and just come in and just start telling people that you can help them.
Yeah, they like entertainment. You can. I've sent people in to do shows, like organize a little group from church. Somebody sings. You can lead a bingo thing. You can do sing-alongs. You can play karaoke, and they can sing those songs.
I'm going to reveal a secret to you right now, Peter. And I use secret as the wrong word because it's not the right word. It's information most people do not know.
Huh. Okay.
My mother lives in an independent living place.
Right.
There are 177 residents.
Mm-hmm.
And she tells me how lucky she is because she has 3 kids, mostly 2 of us. My sister that's a year younger than me, goes to her house every Monday night and makes sure her pills are done and everything's good because she lives in the area. And I call her at least every other day to check on her.
Wow.
She tells me how she's like, the queen of the place because most of them don't have family that do that for them.
Ah, jeez.
177 people. So you may not understand what I'm telling you here, but when they get old like that, kids park them and forget them.
Yeah, and they sit there hour after hour, day after day.
Right. So Chris says, great idea, Chris. Moving company employees too. I used to move furniture, offer referral fees to those closed deals. That's a great idea. I didn't even think of that, Chris. Right? Moving companies.
That's number 11.
Yeah, that's moving companies. That's a great idea, Chris. Very, very bright idea. He's saying, get into a moving company, and when they make an appointment, because somebody doesn't move, it's not usual that they call on Tuesday to book somebody to move them on Saturday, right? Yeah. It's not usual. There's usually a planning process. It's usually some time out, right?
Well, I started moving my mother's stuff up way before we had the house for sale. We had to start moving things, cleaning things up. So you get ahead of the curve there because you don't want to get it after it's sold, but you'll get there before it's sold a lot of the times. You got to start prepping that stuff.
Chris says real estate agents would do that too.
Yeah.
Right. So that's a great idea. I never thought. I'm going to add that to my list here. That's awesome. Moving companies.
Now your list goes to 11.
Yes. Number 5, or actually number 6, but number 5, we could go to eviction courts and talk to landlords about their properties.
Oh, yeah. Why, because you're getting tired of evictions?
Yeah. Or do like I've done before. You could ask the court clerk. Court clerk is a person that runs the administration of the court. Mm-hmm. They do all the dates and all the,
paperwork,
letters and all that. Yeah.
They know what's going on.
So they know more than everybody, right? So you could ask a court clerk to give you the top 5 attorneys' names that they see weekly or often doing evictions. Mm-hmm. This is how I find someone to do evictions when I need them, which is very far and few between for me. But if I need to do an eviction, I just call the court of that town, and I ask where the evictions are done. And I call the clerk and I say, can you give me 5 names of people you see in court all the time? I need to get an eviction attorney or whoever. Can you give me the top 5 names? And I just call them. Right? Which, by the way, is a total side note. The reason why I did this is because I originally was looking for money when I first started. So in Connecticut, we used attorneys. So I had an attorney that was writing notes. I noticed that he was doing it for other people. He was writing mortgages. So I asked him, I said, is it possible you can give me some names? You can give me a name of someone that you write a lot of notes for? He said, no, but I'll give you 3. He couldn't just single out one. He had to give me 3. No. So he gave me 3 names of people that he would write notes for, and they would lend money. Mm-hmm. And I went for, I think, 5 or 8 years with those 3 people, actually 2 of them, and never had to look for money after that. So that's where the idea came from, and I did that with evictions. I had an eviction, and I'm like, I'm going to do the same thing with the court. So I called the court, and they gave me 5 names of people, right? So then once you get those eviction attorneys, you call them up and offer them $1,000 for giving you a lead for a burned out landlord that wants to sell. Or just go to court one day a week and meet the landlords themselves outside the court. Mm-hmm. If you have time and you don't have money, why not?
Well, if you don't have time, you're earning it without the money. If you have the time and not the money, you're earning it by putting the time in. But you can hand them your card.
How am I doing so far?
Interesting.
Okay, good.
And the thing is, we can't do all these. Everybody listen will have like one. They go, I can do that.
I'm going to cover that in a minute. You are 100% correct. So number 6, or because of Chris, it's now number 7. Offer to sell stuff on eBay. Yeah.
What? Go ahead. Explain. What?
Put out a bandit sign that says, looking to move? Let me sell your junk on eBay.
Oh. Yeah, because a lot of people are so old, they don't know how to do that. Put stuff just online. They just don't know how to do it.
This is like junk removal. I'm sure you can find someone that does eBay listings already.
Mm-hmm.
So all you're going to do is you're going to hook them up with the eBay guy or girl. The eBay person will go out and take a bunch of pictures and they'll sell them.
Yeah.
The point is that before you turn them on to the eBay person, you'll ask them, do you have a house for sale?
Yep.
Oh, but...
And you did that with a bandit sign, you said?
Yeah.
Okay.
Or you could use the socialonly.com and put it on social media. Right? And you should say something like, looking to move? Let me sell your junk on eBay.
Well, see, I like how that started, looking to move.
Right.
So you know that they're going someplace, so the house should be for sale.
Right.
Cool.
Thank you, Chris. He says excellent. Number 7. Actually, number 8, because Chris added one. I'm going to do that all the way through. How about doing a free class at the local library? You ready?
On?
How to get your property on Section 8.
How to get your property on Section 8. Oh my God, you're stretching it now. Go ahead.
You could advertise on Facebook rental section or bandit signs or in Facebook buy and sell groups using onlysocial.com to promote this talk. Do it once a month. The library will give you a room for free. Most libraries do, as long as you're not charging money, which you won't be.
Yeah.
And you would have a talk and you would call the housing authority and say, I want to help landlords get their properties on Section 8 the correct way to make your job easier. So I want to show them what the qualifications are of Section 8, actually get the housing authority person to come and speak with you. Once you have the housing authority do this with you for a couple months and you learn the ins and outs, you do this yourself. Now landlords show up, because why would a landlord go on Section 8?
Because they're really, really tired of the tenants they have that aren't paying the money and they're getting burnt out.
There you go.
And they're looking for a way out. Maybe I'll just have the state pay me.
There you go. Come on, Peter, it's good.
Do you wake up in the morning think of these things?
Sometimes. Number 8, or number 9, because of Chris thing. Code violation properties. Call your city's code or zoning office and ask for the code violation officer. Tell them the truth. You're looking for properties to buy and wanted to do this by helping them get property owners to fix their property code violations. Right? Once you and ask them for a list, because you're going to help them get these properties, because that's their job. The code violation officer is to get these off his desk.
Right. One way or the other, he doesn't care how. If you show up like, I can help you with that, like, good, you go do it. He started trying.
Once you gather a list of these owners, you can ask if they want to sell. Or you can use things like Thumbtack and Yelp and Angie's List, or in Facebook, like I told you, if you go to a buy and sell site and say, hey, I'm looking to renovate a bathroom. Anybody know a contractor? Yeah. You know, hey, I have a tree to cut down. Anybody know a contractor? Hey, I'm trying to get my lawn mowed. Anybody know a contractor? I'm trying to get my house painted. Anybody, you know, and you're going to get all these contractors. So you could actually help the person that has the code violation if they so need it. Which, by the way, you're going to learn a whole crap load of stuff if you do that. It's way worth it for your education.
You know, that's funny you say that, because one of the things people worry about is problems when they buy a house that they don't, you know, you're going to run into stuff, and some people kind of freak out. You're really cool about it. You go, I'll figure it out. I'll ask a few people, and you can figure. But wouldn't it be better to know in advance?
So what you're saying is when you buy a house and doing an inspection, you know what the code violations are. That's what you're saying.
Yeah, and if you have that, you don't freak out. You go, I've done that before. I've seen that. You know what to do. So it just takes some of the heat off of, you know, worrying about whatever, because you've been through it. For somebody else, which is, less skin off your nose.
Right. Number 9, the new number 10, because of Chris's idea. Military bases are a perfect place for deals. Try to contact the person on the base that helps the soldiers or the military staff transfer. And tell that person how you can help them take their house off their hands so they can do the transfer quickly.
Yep.
And even offer them a commission if they can take it.
Yeah, it might be contrary to their position and all that, but
in Connecticut we have a substation. What is it called?
Submarine bases in Groton, New London.
Yeah,
submarine base.
What is it called?
I don't know. One of my students works there in the Coast Guard. My music student, he's down there. The name of it?
I forgot. Yeah,
I thought it was the Groton Naval Base out there.
No. But that's a great area. Like New London's a great area for military. There's a bunch of military properties in there, right?
Yeah, and they can live all over the place, not just in that town. But They get reassigned someplace. If they bought a house, like now what do they do?
Right. So there's a lot of military bases. I think one time, because Sean and I were talking about military bases, I looked it up. I think there was 168 military bases in the country. I think that was the number. I could be wrong with that, but it was a lot.
Figures. Right? That's more than one per state.
But just type in Google how many military bases, and then ask for a list of them, and you'll know whether one's in your city or not. Or that's a perfect place to do virtual with Creative Area Replay.
Yeah.
All right, number 10, or actually the new 11, which is the last one. On Craigslist, there's a section called house swapping, where owners offer to trade their house for another one.
I think I've seen that, but I didn't understand so what is the practicality of that? So how do you swap houses?
You'll see ads like this because they can't afford to buy another house or need to downsize but can't afford to sell it with a realtor. These are perfect Grand Slam offer slot deals.
Wow. And they swap with somebody. Wow.
And their solution is to try to swap with someone. So you could call them or contact them and say, how about we do this? Because they don't know another way to solve their problem.
Right. House swap. See, of all the things you said today, that's the one I would look into.
Okay.
For me, it's just like, I use Craigslist. Let me go see. I'm in there a couple times a week. That's cool.
All right. That's enough for now.
Yes.
Just realize these suggestions on this podcast and podcast number 412 are used 2 ways. So the intention of these 2 podcasts, which is about 2 hours and 20 minutes or 2 hours and 15 minutes worth of content, right?
Mm-hmm.
Chris says people do that with cars too. I didn't know that. Swap cars.
That is weird. I'm sorry. I never heard of that. That's weird.
Yeah, well.
I'd like to swap for a Cadillac. I'm in the mood for a Caddy.
I know that when Naomi was working with us, remember she used to rent her car. There was a website where you could rent cars. Private seller,
That's right.
Private people would let you rent their car.
Yeah, you're working all day, the car's sitting there, somebody needs it, you make a couple of bucks.
She lived in the city and didn't use her car, yeah. All right, so there's 2 ways that you could use these ideas that I've given you over the course of 2 podcasts. Mm-hmm. One is to get you a deal when you're first starting. It's like you could put the time in. If you don't have any money, you could pick, like you said, pick just one of these, and just go with it. Chris says, they trade title for title when they're doing cars. So you could just do this, pick one, like you said, you're going to go on Craigslist and see what happens, because you guys aren't going to believe me when I'm telling you. So you'll pick one and test it, see if I'm giving you a bunch of crap, right? Bullshit. So go test it. Do whatever you want. I don't care. They're there, right? The one I want to try is the eBay one. I want to do that with our signs. So I need to find somebody that does eBay. I don't know. I got to go figure that out and just do that one because I think that's a great sign, right? All right. So number 1, you use these ideas when you're first trying to get a deal. You don't have any money and you want to put the sweat and tears in. You just, like you said, just pick one of them, because at this point now there's 22 or 23. Plus, inside of the description, there's a link that has a document on both podcasts that has 100 ways that Oz and Mayo actually wrote.
Oh, man. Oh, geez.
There's 101 ways on there, right? So you can go there and get that list, okay? Number 2, you should use this for, right? You do this so you have, like we have marketing campaigns already. These should go in between your other deal hunting activities, right? Like, for example, having the talk at the nursing home. It's like you could do that once a month in between all your other activities.
Sure.
Right? Putting signs out for the eBay thing or the junk thing or the only social thing, you know what I mean? You could do these in between your other deal hunting activities, so you just have more outflow.
Yeah.
When you're looking for deals.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So it's like a filler. And this is the thing that most rookies don't realize. This is how I was buying a few houses, several houses a month, 5, 6, 7 houses a month in full swing. I don't think I could do that right now. Number 1, because of my age and just because I don't want to work that hard. And number 2, which is the out point, because if I could work as hard as I did for my first deal for every deal, then I would be way a lot better off than I am right now. Right?
Geez, Bill, I hope I'm not rubbing off on you.
Yeah. And the other thing is, it's a lot of work to do that. You got to have a whole crew and everything, and I don't have that. So my point is that the more outflow you do, the more you can reach, the more you can have people see you and use the formula. Remember, the formula is find and communicate to a motivated seller. Mm-hmm. Tell them what you do. In this case, I buy houses on terms, or however you say it. Number 3, ask them what's needed and wanted. And number 4, give it to them. If you just keep doing that cycle of action, those 4 things, every single time you talk to somebody, which, by the way, when you say give it to them, it's as easy as doing the Grand Slam offer. Because once you do the Grand Slam offer, you not only give them what their asking price is, but you can give them up to 70% more than the asking price and swell their greed glands and still make 5 to 10% profit on that house for you within 30 days. It's the fastest way to make money in real estate right now. Okay, so you should definitely use these for outflow. Okay, so before we jump, I wanted to give a big shout out to my friend Oz and Mayo. He was the brains behind this list. He definitely jogged a few cobwebs in Bill's head. And you can find him on the free list that's in the description when you click on that button. His contact information and his website are there if you want to go find him and talk to him, or not talk to him, but see his stuff. I would gladly share it. He's a very, very intelligent guy, and he is definitely cool to be in touch with. Okay, don't forget to subscribe to wherever you're watching us or listening to us. Make sure you like us. Make sure you leave a comment. If you have any questions, go to flippinghousesforrookies.com. Top right-hand side is the support link. Thank you so much for your support. And podcast number 414, Peter, is going to be, I don't have the title done, but it's going to be something along the lines of 100 ways you could sell a house.
Ah.
Now, I don't know if that's going to be 2 parts or 1 part because I haven't written it yet, but now we're going to go into a list of ways you can sell a house once you purchase it. So I hope you join us for that. Okay?
Yep.
Have a good week. Flourish and prosper. And again, thank you for your attention.
Thanks for tuning in to the hottest real estate topics on the planet with Bill and Pete. If you want to continue learning how to buy and sell real estate without money or credit, head over to flippinghouses.club for some cutting-edge real estate wealth tools. Or contact us at info@flippinghouses.club.